we'll continue, right? Yeah, this is the Atari 5200. It's so big, I had to switch to the camera on the back of the tablet. Because I can't hold it. Because I've got a tablet here and I'm trying to do this one-handed, right? So this is the Atari 5200, right? A big pile of shite. A failure of massive proportions. Everything about this is big, awkward, heavy, and unnecessary, okay? The Atari 5200 came out in 1982 and it was meant to replace the Atari 2600. But it was a big, massive, smelly turd. And it only lasted 2 years till 1984 and it was thrown in the bin. And the 2600 kept going. So the Atari 5200, it didn't even get an international release. This is an American version only. So fucking big, right? Now, this is the now it has a cool strip. It looks fucking great, I have to say. It looks stylish. It looks fucking with the strip and all. But apart from that, it's just so fucking big and unnecessary. Look how big it is, for fuck's sake, like, you know. Right, that's where the cartridge goes. That big huge hole. The cartridges are way too big. Everything is just too fucking big. You know, it was a nightmare getting this out of my storage. See that over there? That's where it was. It was a nightmare getting out of there. Right, so the Atari 5200. Right, this is there's two models. There's a 4 controller model and a 2 controller model. And that sound coming off was the door, right? Now this is the 2 controller model. 1, 2. Whereas the 4 controller model is even more expensive. See how flimsy it is, right? It has a fucking door in it. Right, that just fell off, right? Now, presumably, that's where the fucking controller goes, you know? Right, now, here's the Atari 5200 controller, right? This is the pile of, I've got 2 of these. This is a hunk of fucking shit. Cheaply made, and it doesn't self-center, you know what I mean? It's a fucking analog joystick. Okay, despite it being faulty, it'll break within hours. It did have some innovations. It's the first controller to have an analog stick, which was cool. And it had a pause button, a reset button, and a start button. But it had 4 buttons on the other side. And it had all these number fucking buttons. Right? All this is unnecessary. Now, the reason why Atari did this is because the Intellivision and the ColecoVision controllers had something like this. You'd have number buttons and shit. Unnecessary. All you need is 1 button for Atari games. You don't need all these fucking buttons. So, like, it's like a phone or a fucking calculator, you know. But the thing is cheaply made. That's made out of rubber, right? There's no springs or anything inside of it. So that'll wear away within hours. Now, my 5200 doesn't work and I can't get it to work. I've had this for over 10 years and I can't get it to work. And I can't get rid of it. It's so fucking big. I can't just dump it, you know what I mean? Like, you know. So, like, Atari knew that these controllers were of cheap design. The fucking engineers at Atari told the executives, look, don't release these controllers because they're going to break within hours and they're going to have a shitstorm of angry people on your hands. But Atari says, look, they won't know. It'll cost less for them to make and we'll make loads of money. That backfired them big fucking time. Because this is the first time Atari really pissed off their fan base and really fucking burned the consumer by lying and releasing cheap ass controllers. This is the main problem behind the Atari 5200. You can't play the games for long because the controllers break, you know. And if you bought another one, that'll break as well. And there's not many of these because it was such a huge fucking failure. Plus, they changed everything that made... Okay, the Atari 5200, it has better graphics and sound than the Atari 2600 Junior. I mean, just look how fucking big it is, you know. You can fit 2 2600s inside the 5200, right? So, but the thing is, right, with the 5200, right, they changed the plug, so the only controllers that you can use on the 5200 are fucking 5200 controllers. Whereas the 2600 Junior, the Sega Mega Drive, Commodore 64, they all use the same thing. So you can use Atari joysticks, Sega joysticks, whatever you want to use. Sega control pads. But Atari changed all that to where the only controllers you can use on this big piece of shit is this, which will break within hours. You know what I mean? I've got two of these, right? So big pile of shit. Now, see that big fucking hole? That's where the controllers are meant to go. Fucking doesn't quite fit. You know, even if I wrap the wire around it, it still won't fit. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like, you know. So what's it? But okay, you can fit your watch in there, your fucking calculator or whatever, or a measuring tape. It is a storage area, I'll give it that. But it has these two fucking yokes inside of it. So unnecessary, unfucking necessary. Right? And this is the fucking door, right? So I don't know. Right, so fucking pile of shit. Now this is an American version only, you know, so foolish me, back in the early fucking 90s, I thought, hey, this'll work no problem, just like the fucking 2600. Wrong, you know what I mean? Fucking wrong. Like, this is American only. Foolish fucking me, I'm a fucking idiot. Plain and simple, right? Now this one, right, the two controller, the two, now this is the power fucking switch. You know, fucking huge. Right now, this has the AV lead, the RF lead, hardwired into the fucking console, right? Now that's, see this word, this is hardwired into the system, into the console. And this will plug into your TV, right? But this is for American fucking televisions only. This won't work on our televisions. Now, even if I got a fucking coaxial thing, it still wouldn't work. And I've tried it and it won't work. So this thing just doesn't work. Well, my one doesn't work anyway. And I can't get it into my... Now, call me a fucking retard or whatever, but this just won't work. I've had it for over 10 years and it still won't work. So I just got to assume it's broken. And I'm not going to get another Atari 5200, right? Because it's just not fucking worth it, right? In my opinion, right? Now, now... So that's the hardware. Now, the 2600 had the RF lead hardwired into it as well, right? Which is not a fucking big fucking issue, right? But look at the size of this fucking thing. Like, it's really fucking awkward. Sorry if I'm cursing, but this thing is just really pissing me off. Now, the Atari 5200 does have better sound and graphics than the 2600. I'll give it that. But, like, now, that's where the wire fucking wraps around, like, you know. So they had a sense of doing that. Now, the fucking... the 4 controller model is an even bigger fucking pile of shit. Because the power lead and the fucking... The power lead and the fucking RF, right, go into this thing called a TV switch box, right? And then this box will go into the back of the television. It's... The whole... I mean, why do that? You know, one wire from the back of the system and it goes into the switch box, and then the switch box goes into the television. A big mess of wires over your floor. Luckily, my one doesn't have that problem. But here's the fucking power supply for the 5200, and this thing weighs a fucking ton. It's like a fucking brick. It's like a hand grenade or something. I mean, look how big that fucking thing is. Now, it has a nice fucking logo. A Warner Communications company, but look at the size of this fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it weighs a lot as well. It's like a fucking brick. Right now, the thing that's fucking dodgy with this is, I had to have an American outlet, a two pin fucking outlet. But over here in Ireland, we use the same stuff that England uses, which is a 3-pin plug, you know. You know. So, you know, it's American only. So if I was to plug this into my wall, I would most likely blow this fucking thing up, because this will only take 100 volts, whereas we use 240 volts. So now I have a step down converter and it still won't fucking work. So this is just fucking broken, right? But I'm not missing out on much, you know what I mean? Like, fucking terrible. And this is one of the reasons why this is when Atari really started burning people, screwing them over, you know, I mean, swindling them out of their money and making faulty fucking controllers, you know. Look how big this fucking thing is. I can't get over it. Now this end goes into the back of the console, but it won't work. I've tried it, like I said, you know. Now, so the Atari 5200, big fucking failure, actually set someone's house on fire in America, you know. So like, fuck. Now I've got pole position for it, right? Now I have to say this: the Atari 5200, it changed everything, right? Like with the 2600, it was all in red, and they changed it to blue. I just prefer the red, you know. But whatever, you know. Now pole position on the 5200 is arcade perfect. Same as Pac-Man and Centipede, but you won't be playing the games for fucking long because these controllers will fucking break, you know what I mean? And there's not many third-party controllers either, you know? You know, unfucking necessary, all these fucking buttons. Like. Now, certain games have overlays and they go here and they'll show you what each button does. Same as the Atari Jaguar, but it's fucking necessary. With pole position, you don't even need a fucking accelerator button because it accelerates by itself. All you have to do is change the gears from low to high by pressing up or down or steering the car. But they did make innovations with a pause button. Now everything has a pause button, you know. But unnecessary, unfucking necessary, you know. So like, and the fucking cartridges, the actual fucking cartridges are huge, you know. You know, trying to get the fucking thing out here. Jesus sake. People call me a madman. Why did you get an American console? Like, why the fuck? What the hell did you think was going to happen? The reason why I got it is because I'm an Atari fan, and the guy now it has some good games. Zaxxon, Buck Rogers, you know. Like pole position, here's the cartridge. Look at the size of that fucking thing. You know, I mean, unnecessary. It doesn't have to be that fucking big, but I guess they think bigger is better, which is true. You know what I mean? Especially fucking in other fucking areas, it's good. But here, like, it's fucking unnecessary. But like, like the cartridges look cool. I mean, it looks fucking cool. It looks stylish and all. It's just a bigger version of that, you know. Like that's where the overlays go for the. But for this, like I said, you don't even need an accelerator button. The car accelerates by itself. All you have to do is change the gears. But like it's just a fucking shame, like, you know. The whole issue with the 5200 is the fucking controller. This cheap ass fucking controller. You know what I mean? They just I mean, and you can't even use 2600 joysticks or Sega Mega Drive controllers. You have to use a 5200 fucking controller. Why, Atari? Why did you make this fucking change? Fucking terrible. So anyway, if you are interested in the Atari 5200, my advice is get the two controller model like me. You know, because you know. One word for the power, one word goes into the telly. But if you live in America, you're gonna have no problems, right? But if you live in Ireland like I do, or England, with a fucking pass on it, you know what I mean? Because you have to have an old school American style television. It's as simple as that. This won't plug into a modern telly or even an old fashioned PAL telly. Because believe me, it won't work. You know what I mean? You have to have an old school tube style fucking American television, especially for this thing. I've gotten a step down converter. I've gotten all the fucking, you know, the yokes that what you call them, the fucking coaxial converter, and it still won't work. You know what I mean? I've even tried to plug this into my old VHS machine, and it won't work. So my one is just fucking dead on arrival. You know what I mean? Unfortunate. And I haven't done it. So if if you want to store your calculator or other fucking shit in here, you can do that. Sorry about all the cursing, but it's just so upsetting. And I hope to God, now the Atari VCS won't be a failure like this, I doubt it. Because it'll work the way it's meant to, and I won't have a fucking shoddy ass controller. But who knows what's going to happen with the Atari VCS. It might come out and it might break within minutes, but I doubt it. This thing is sturdy as fuck. And you can kill someone with this, I'm not messing it. Like I said, it set someone's house on fire in America. So, like, if you live in Ireland like me, or in Europe, I wouldn't recommend it. Unless you have an old school American television. Or VHS thing, I don't know. Because I've tried everything to get this fucking thing to work, and I'm at work. So, big pile of shit, I wouldn't recommend it. And the fucking... Now, like I said, we had the two controller. So, this plugs into the wall and like use, but the far controller model, this goes into this power box, into this TV switch box, and the RF lead goes into the same box, and then the wire goes into the tele. So, avoid the far controller model. That's my advice. That's my opinion. Okay. So, like power position, centipede, it has some great games. The 5200, you know, and if you can get a decent controller that'll last, then yeah, go for it. Because there are some great games on it, but it's just going to cost you a lot of money. And I learned that lesson the fucking hard way, you know what I mean? I bought step-down converters, I bought adapters so it'll work on my television. Won't fucking work, well, my mount anyway. I'm not going through it's just a pain in the ass trying to start somewhere and take it out. So, big pile of shit, skip it, okay? And like I said, it's just not, in my opinion, it's not worth it, right? Now, what pisses me off even more about the 5200, like back in the day, Atari released this system to compete with the Intellivision and the ColecoVision, because them consoles were superior to the 2600 in terms of graphics, and they had a fancy new controller with all the number buttons. So Atari panicked for no reason, you know what I mean, and they released this big pile of shit. Now, the ColecoVision, I think, has a converter, or is it the Intellivision? I'm not sure which one, but it has an Atari 2600. An Atari 2600 converter, so you can play Atari 2600 games on the ColecoVision, you know, or the Intellivision, I'm not sure, but that's fucking ridiculous, right? Now, you can't play Atari 2600 games on this because the cartridges are too fucking small, right? Well, people start complaining about that. Says, look here, Atari, why can't we play our 2600 games on our brand new Atari 5200, right? And it was called the Atari 5200 Super System, right? Why can't, so people start complaining, rightly so, I would, why can't I use my 2600 games on my Atari, why can't I play my 2600 games on my fucking 5200? Atari said, oh yeah, no sweat, we hear you. So they made a converter, just like the ColecoVision. It's sitting to the cartridge part, and this converter would stick up like that. It was the same size as this nearly. It was the same size as a 2600 Junior, sticking up, and then you put your 2600 cartridges into it. It's just a big fucking converter, and that nearly costs what, $150, $200 or something like that. So swindling people out of their fucking money. And like I said, the only controllers you can use on the 5200 is the crappy fucking ass 5200 controller. It's just a fucking shame, you know. So I can't think of anything else to say about it. It's just a pain in the fucking ass, and I can't get rid of it, you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just a big fucking paperweight, that's what it is. Sorry about all the cursing, but that's how much it pisses me off, like, you know. So, on to the Atari 2600 Junior. Jesus. The Atari 2600 Junior came out in 1986, 87. It's just a cheaper version of the original 2600. It's black and stylish. It has a cool strip, you know, just like the 5200. And, you know, it has the 4 switches there, power, black and white and all. and it has the stuff in the back, the power lead and two controller parts. So, and it has RF and no power adapter thing. So yeah, I mean it's more reliable than the older versions, and there's more of them. You know, and the RF lead isn't hardwired into it, whereas the old school 2600 has the wire hardwired into it. So like that was smart. So like yeah, so like the 2600 Junior, I mean it's very cheap, and yeah, we'd get one if it was you. I mean, they're easier to come by, and I think it looks more stylish than the wood grain. So yeah, I mean, yeah, go for it. But the 5200, avoid it like the fucking plague, in my opinion. You know, but if you're a mega fan like me, then yeah, you're already gonna get one. You know, but it's gonna cost you a fortune, and make sure you get a controller that'll last, that won't break, because the official ones will break, and if you get another one, that'll break as well, because it's cheap ass materials inside this thing, and they're expensive. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. Well, so that's the end of this video. If you enjoy it, whatever. If you have any comments or anything like that, sorry about me cursing and stuff, but this really pisses me off. You know, this Atari 5200. But there are great games on it, don't get me wrong. But a lot of them are just remakes of 2600 games. I mean, like Vanguard, Pole Position, Centipede, you know, all the classics are on the 5200, but they're arcade perfect, so that's something. But it's just not worth it, in my opinion. That's my own opinion. So avoid it. Don't go near it. You know what I mean? In my opinion. So that's it. Thanks very much if you're watching, and if you want to subscribe, go ahead. I'm just an amateur at this, so forgive me if I got shit wrong, or you know, I believe I got everything right. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Take care, bye bye.